The usual place to do a lumbar puncture is between L4 to L5. But how are you going to find that particular space? How will you recognize the lumbar L4 landmark? So the process to do that is the top of your iliac crest. How? Let me show you. If I can zoom in, if you take a look at the left side, this is the iliac crest of, if you go from left to right, if you just trace the line between the left iliac crest to the right iliac crest, you will find the L4 spinous process. It is in between your iliac crest. All you have to do is just feel your way around and you should be able to find the L4 spinous process. Once you find that, the L4 vertebra, you can just trace the distance or the gap between the L4 and the L5 vertebra, and that is your point for lumbar puncture. Now, let's talk about the clinical correlate, lumbar puncture. Why do we do the lumbar puncture? First and foremost, lumbar puncture is performed for multiple reasons. If you need to relieve the brain pressure, the cranium pressure, or if you need to collect the spinal fluid for the diagnosis of meningitis. It is also used for subarachnoid hemorrhages. To perform a lumbar puncture, you need to pass a needle through the interlaminar space in the midline. Vertebral column needs to be flexed. Why? Because you want as much as space possible in order to pass the needle for your lumbar puncture. You do not want to injure, or you do not want to have your needle stuck in any one of the vertebra, and hence why we put the patient in a position where they flex and the space between the L4 and L5 is maximum in that position. But you also need to take into account where your spinal cord is, and also where your, if you can take a look in this image, where your arachnoid process ends. Why? Because the main reason to do a lumbar puncture is if you were collecting spinal fluid. If you want to do that, you also need to make sure that you are not damaging your spinal cord. But also you need to make sure the arachnoid process is there, because that what contains the spinal fluid. So the spinal cord, usually spinal nerve, or should I say the spinal nerve, ends at the level of L1 and L2. Usually it does differentiate from person to person. So what you need to do is have your needle preferably under L2. So that's why we do it, the lumbar puncture, either between L3 and L4 or L4 and L5. But if you take a look at the previous image, the gap here is even bigger. But why don't we do it between L5, which is lumbar 5, and sacrum 1, S1? The reason for that is also in some adults, the arachnoid process ends at S2 or S3. So you need to make sure that your lumbar puncture is performed between L2 and S2. Now, we need to pass multiple layers in order to perform that lumbar puncture. What are those layers? If you take a look at this image, the first and foremost layer is of course your skin. Now, what's present under the skin would be your subcutaneous layer or your fat layer. Under the fat are your muscles. So, if you pass your needle through the spine or through between L3 and L4 as shown in the image, the first point of contact is the skin, and then the subcutaneous and the muscular layer. Now, a point to be mentioned is muscle is the one that you will face the most resistance with. After you're done passing the muscle layer, you will be faced with the interspinous ligament, then ligament flavum, and after that you are into the epidural phase. Here, the epidural phase. Now, after that, you will have your dura mater and arachnoid, and once you pass through that, you will face the subarachnoid space where the cerebro I'm sorry, where the CSF is present. That's where you need your needle in order to perform a successful lumbar puncture. Now, as we were discussing earlier, The reason we do lumbar puncture not only for the diagnosis of meningitis, but also to relieve cranial pressure, but in also cases of subarachnoid hemorrhage. What is that? Hemorrhage basically is the inclusion of blood inside. So the blood is bleeding through and it is pressing against your brain. You do have to realize the CSF is not only in your spinal cord but is also present in your brain. So when you have a subarachnoid hemorrhage, it will press against your brain, and in order to drain that excess blood, you will need to perform a lumbar puncture. As you can see in this image, a subarachnoid hemorrhage, if you see in section C, this line, once you trace this line, that is the presence of blood in your subarachnoid space. So in cases like that, you are required to do a lumbar puncture and drain the excess fluid or the excess blood. I hope that we are clear on this topic so far. If you have any questions relating the topic, feel free to just type them in the comment and I'll try my best to answer those questions for you.